We talked a lot about Jake Paul. Like, we talk about him a lot because you like sports, you like boxing, and I just go along with it. But if I have to be honest, I don't care about Jake Paul until he gets beaten up. Once he officially gets beaten up, I don't mean punched. I don't mean somebody connects really well. I mean stretcher. I don't care. What he's gonna fight Conor McGregor again? Like these are two. I'm happy to see two white guys beating the shit out of each other. Like I'm sign me up for that any day. I'll watch it. But I don't care. You know what I mean? Who else is on this card? Chris Rock's brother. Who's he
Uh,
fighting? We don't know. Or do you know?
no, no.
It's funny because when Chris Rock's brother, what's his name? Kenneth or something like
You
that?
get you're getting your stories mixed up.
How am I getting it mixed up?
The card you're talking about is the Black China fight.
Am I?
Yeah. So
Well, this should be a clear example as to how much I care. Okay. So what? It's just Conor
you want to
McGregor.
start you want to start again? You want to start
No,
again?
not at
Let me
all.
start it because
Not at
it's
all. Not at all. This is again an example as to how much I care. I don't care. Why
right.
should I care? Tell me.
Okay. That's a I mean that's a good twist. Another word would be unprepared, but I guess you don't care is another way to say it.
It's
So the art
official. It's
so
real.
what the actual story is that Jake Paul announced that he's going to have a fight on August 13th.
Right.
He hasn't announced his fighter, the people who he's fighting against yet. He hasn't announced that, but the possible people that he could be facing are Tommy Fury, Mike Tyson, or Conor McGregor. Those are the people that he's recently had interactions with. Tommy Fury, of course, he was supposed to have a fight, then Tommy Fury hurt himself. That fight is probably the most distant one, though, because he's actually said that, he's kind of past that. He wants to fight somebody in the UFC, I guess, kind of hinting towards Conor McGregor. They had a back and forth exchange on Twitter. And of course, him and Mike Tyson had their back and forth where he made his comment saying that if he ever fought Mike Tyson, it would be the highest selling pay-per-view of all time. Mike Tyson saying, listen, if you can pay me a certain amount, then I'm in. I'm in there. I'm in it to win it. Let's do the fight. So those are the possible options for the fight that he had. So I just thought it was interesting because yeah, I thought it was interesting because it's just like who would you like to see face Jake Paul? Like if you want to see somebody go in there and fight Jake Paul, who would you want to go in there and see fight out of those three people?
The only person who I would want to see Jake Paul fight is somebody that is guaranteed to put him on a stretcher. I don't think
Okay,
Tyson.
so I just
I
named
don't think
Conor
Tyson.
McGregor,
I
Mike
don't
Tyson.
think Tyson. Because, like I said, two white guys fighting each other. I'm cool with that. But you're talking about who do I want to see? The only person that I want to see fight him is someone who could put him on a stretcher. Now, the people that you mentioned, Tyson, again, this is my lack of knowledge in this world, but Tyson is the only one that stands out to me. And Tyson, he's what, retired. He's an old man. So I don't think he's going to do that. And I don't want to see Tyson go in a situation where he gets his bells rocked by fucking Jake Paul. And then that's another one of my heroes. That shit's the bed. So I
Right.
don't really want to see that. You tell me, who do you believe that can jump in the ring and just knock his head off? No problem. Because that's the fight I want to see.
Out of all three of those guys, it's obviously Conor McGregor. Like Conor McGregor is probably the easiest one because he has the mixed martial arts background. And if Jake Paul wants to go in and do mixed martial arts, because he said he wants to fight somebody in the UFC, if he wants to do that route, then it would be Conor McGregor. If it's a boxing thing, then I wouldn't mind seeing him face Tommy Fury because Tommy Fury actually boxes. That's what he does. I'd rather see him box a boxer than box a UFC fighter. Conor McGregor is an amazing striker. He's a great striker. He's known for his striking. I get it. But when you take an MMA fighter, a UFC fighter, and you limit their options, their mind starts to do the overthinking because now they can't use their feet and all these other, they can't grapple, they can't do all these other things, right? So now they start overthinking And that's not usually good. A boxer's more comfortable just using his hands. You know what I mean? It's a basketball player versus a soccer player, essentially. You know,
I
so
noticed that you didn't throw Tyson in the mix as somebody who could definitely knock his head off.
well, I have to get to the third person. You got to give me time. So Mike Tyson is a person who I believe if he got into the ring, listen, it's because of what you said. It's because of what you said, right? Like Mike Tyson is an old guy. I don't want to see his bells get rocked either, right? But the thing about it is like Mike Tyson wasn't known for his defense. And one thing that I know about players as they get older, you got to evolve your game. You know what I mean? Especially in boxing, you got to become a great defensive player. So I still believe that Mike Tyson is a one-punch knockout guy. I don't care how old he is, just because of Mike Tyson's lifestyle, the way that he trains still. You know what I mean? He's not
I
out
hear
there.
what you're saying.
He's not out here like he used to be. You know what I mean? When he was actually young and boxing, think about the lifestyle he was living then while he was boxing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and the talent that he had. So you know, I say I don't care how old he is because I think about stuff like that. I think about Mike Tyson high on some powder, knocking somebody out in 45 seconds. It happened for sure. I'm guaranteeing it happened.
Yeah, he's just gotta be able to hit Jake Paul. If he hits him, then fine. But didn't Jake Paul say something about his bone density? He's got like crazy, like he could literally somebody swings an aluminum bat at him, holds up his arm, he's gonna dent the bat, his bone's gonna be fine. This is what he's saying.
Right.
So he could probably.
That's what Jake Paul was saying about himself or Mike Tyson.
That's what he said about himself. Give me a second.
Oh, well, you can't listen when people talk about themselves.
You're right. Jake Paul was the one that said it. So how much credit does that have? I don't know. But point is I don't care that much unless he's leaving on a stretcher. I just like people being humbled. That's all. I believe that you should be very confident, borderline cocky. You know what I mean? Like, look what it did for Kanye West. Lil Wayne preached, I'm the greatest rapper into existence. You got to be that. But also sometimes you need to be humbled. And I think that on a long list of people that needs to be humbled in the celebrity space, public eye, he's one of those people. I think so. I think he could be humbled. I think Jake Paul can get put in critical condition. I don't want that to happen, but from a boxing or whatever type of fight and bounce back from it. I think people will still love him.
So out of those three people, who would you want to see Jake Paul fight?
Like, I don't care. I don't care. Out of all those three people, I don't care. I
don't believe I don't care was an option. Just out of those three people, who would you like to see?
Conor McGregor, fight? Because I want to see two white people beat the hell out of each other.
There you go. See, all right, there's an answer.
Viewing public, who do you want to see him fight? I'd like to see him fight like a grizzly, or a kangaroo. Can we do that? Didn't Tyson say he wanted to fight a lion or something?
This is why you're ridiculous, because I'm giving you real life people who actually have talent in these sports that want to fight Jake Paul, the guy that you say you want to get beat up, and you say you're not interested in that at all. I'm giving you three people that can beat up Jake Paul, and you want to see Jake Paul get beat up. You're not interested, but you are interested in seeing Jake Paul fight a bear
or a
kangaroo.
Maybe a lion.
Or
remember at the beginning?
That's where your interest goes to.
Remember at the
now
top
you're
of this,
interested.
Remember at the top of this when I was saying the wrong shit and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I was hoping that you're just going to edit that out.
I'm not editing that out. All right, Viewing public.
That would just make sense, but that's okay.
What are your thoughts here, Ben? Who do you want to see him fight? Do you think him getting put on a stretcher will humble him? Would it just kind of silence him? Or do you think he would be just as brash as he always was? Let us know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comments.
Well, I also want to know who Deuce Gang would like to see Jake Paul fight out of those three as well. Conor McGregor, Tommy Fury, or Mike Tyson. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
Okay. All right.
Difficult.